Hey everyone, what's going on? Like I promised, I'm going to show you an update on the 990. I have a good part of it disassembled. Let's see what we got underneath here. Let's check it out. So as you can see, I got the tanks off, I got the front end off, wheels, the front wheels are off, the suspension is off, and now we have a good look of what's underneath all the plastics. When you buy an older bike, or especially an adventure bike, you never know what's going on here. So I want to take this apart and see what am I really working with here. So if you ever wondered what a KTM 990 looks like when she's naked without the dress, this is what we're looking at, you know, motor, frame, air filter box, everything is pretty accessible now. And I'm really not surprised by anything so far. I mean, it's an older bike, it has seen some action, so I didn't expect this to be completely mint. But let me close in a little bit more, just to show you what's going on here. So as you can see, this is all a little dirty and moldy, but that's really all it is. I mean, you can see that all this actually just cleans up. So as you can see, this is really just dirt and mold and grime that has been accumulated over the years of riding the bike. It really happens to all adventure bikes. It doesn't matter how well you take care of it, how much you try to clean it, unless you disassemble the bike, it usually always will look like this underneath. I try to clean my Tenere as good as I can, and then I take the tank off or take some plastics off and it's a mess underneath there. And it's just something that you cannot avoid when you use the bike for what they were intended. Of course, if you just ride pavement, you know, use it as a touring bike, you have a good chance that it won't be looking like this. But if you go off-road, if you go camping, you know, you get into dust and mud and all that stuff, dirt, then this is what we're dealing with here. So far, I'm pretty happy with what I'm seeing. I don't see anything majorly wrong. The bike is not hacked up. I don't see any sketchy repairs, no butchery, no nothing. It's just a bike that has been ridden and put away pretty much. So that makes me happy, because I was a little afraid if I would find something really odd or something that's not been fixed correctly down here. But so far, I mean, other than a dusty, moldy, grimy mess, I'm pretty happy. I'm very confident that this is going to be a good bike. So I'm going to keep digging into this, and I'm excited to ride this thing next spring. I think it's going to be a fun bike. So when I got this bike, one of the very first things to do was an oil change. The bike sat for a long time, so you know, condensation, humidity, all sets in that. I didn't want any of that. I got the oil filter kit, which contains, I believe, 3 filters, which is insane. But I changed all the screens, all the filters, changed the oil with my tool. And here's something that's so KTM, but it has been getting way better with the newer bikes. Other than that, it takes you over an hour to do an oil change on this bike, which I think is mind-blowing. For a bike that you are going to adventure ride, to be touring, I think it should be way more serviceable. And let me show you why this is so crazy here. So what you're looking at here, this is the oil tank. This motorcycle has what we call a dry sump system. That means it holds very little oil down in the crankcase, and it pumps the oil to this tank that holds the oil and then back down. It's like, you know, the new supercars, the sport cars, the Porsche, many other, even bikes use that dry sump. Harley Davidson used the dry sump forever. It's not very common to see it on Japanese bikes here and there, but I was a little surprised to see this here, and seeing what the space they have to work with, I kind of understand it. So in order to get this whole side has to come off, that whole half tank has to come off, the dash has to come, not the dash, the glove compartment has to come off. There's a lot going on, all so you can access this little drain plug right here. And then you still have to take the guard underneath here off, because if not, it would be running in there. So there's a lot going on just to get to this, to do an oil change. I think I've seen online people doing some type of hose that threads in here and then goes down, so you can drain the oil further down there. And I'll be looking to see if I can get one of these hoses. If not, I might have just to make my own, because I really don't want to tear half the bike apart to do an oil change. And this is the funny thing with KTM, you know, they go by the moto ready to race, and that's really what they all focus on. They don't care about nothing else, you know. They don't care if you have to tear half the bike apart to do an oil change or a service on your adventure bike or touring bike. So yeah, that's KTM for you. As you can see, the suspension is out. Suspension is coming out for two reasons. One, I want to do the neck bearings. So that means I'm going to take the triple trees off, make sure the bearings are good, grease them, fit them, all that, make sure that that's taken care of. You know, if you get an auto bike, sometimes you have like a very rough steering or like notchy where you can feel like little steps in it. That's when those bearings go bad. Like I said, I'm going to go to the whole bike and make sure that's going to be top notch for next season. And this is one of the very overlooked items that many people, you know, don't even think about it until they have an issue. The second reason I took the forks over is the forks were leaking. So I had to disassemble them anyways. And while I'm in there, I'm going to upgrade the springs. The springs are the standard ones in there. That's pretty good for regular road riding with your occasional gravel road. If you guys watch my channel and see how I ride the T7, you know I like to ride a little bit faster off-road. And I'm in there now, so I really don't want to overhaul the forks now and then in the season riding it and be like, you know, I wish I would have done springs. Now I'm going to tear it apart, I'm going to put springs in. I know I'm going to use the springs anyways. And if I decide to sell the bike later on, then it's already upgraded for the next guy. You know, I'm a very short, skinny guy, so there's not much weight on the bike, but I'm not your regular statue for an adventure bike rider. So most people, you know, they're a little taller, a little bigger, they're a little heavier, and the upgraded springs will definitely be an improvement over that. One of the reasons why I'm taking this whole bike apart is not only to service it, but it's also to get to know the bike, see where components are, who is who, where is what. If I have a problem, and then I have an easier way to pinpoint or to know in which direction I need to look, other than trying to figure out in the field, where is my rectifier or where is my fuse box. You don't have to be a mechanic in order to take your seat and your tank off and just see, you know, is the plug wire still on there, or did the coil disconnected, or there's some easy stuff that even if you don't have much mechanical experience, you know, that just by logic you can find and fix right there in the moment. So like I said, even if you're not a big mechanic and you don't carry much tools, but still at home, I would encourage you, you know, doesn't matter what bike you have, take the seat off, take the side plastics off, take the tank off, look around. Oh, okay, you know, here's my air filter, here's my stator, here's my rectifier, here's this, here's that. And it's just a good common knowledge of your bike. So the bike shows 33,000 miles on it, which I believe is pretty much accurate. I think that the bike is really mostly untouched. When I took stuff apart, these are the caliper bolts, I don't know if you can see that, but they were still the factory Loctite on. So I believe that in here are still the original brake pads, which for 30,000 miles is, you know, it's pretty believable. One of the things that's really weird with this bike, let me show you. Down here is the battery for it. And that's kind of strange that it sits so low being an adventure bike. You know, for water crossings and all that, this is really not a prime spot for having your battery. I guess KTM didn't care, or they just want to keep the weight sitting a little lower, which in contrast would make sense for better handling. But I mean, I understand that water crossing is not your daily routine, but still going to water and all that, I don't know how I feel about that. But on the other side, I cannot change it. It is what it is, so we're going to work with it. And right here is my rectifier, so if I ever have a charging problem, whatever, I can just take that little cover off and I can diagnose this. And this, like I said before, this is just good to figure out where things are on a motorcycle. So on this side of the bike, basically same thing, nothing out of the ordinary going on. I see some connectors here and there for some accessory electrical plugs. I'm going to rip all this out and then just do my own harness for whatever accessories I want to run on the bike. Other than that, same thing, just dirt. So I'm going to have a lot of cleaning to do. But yeah, so far I'm pretty happy. I'm probably going to service the water pump because I read online that is a common issue with these things, and the bike is older and has a few miles on it. So I'm going to whip this guy out and put a rebuild kit in it, just to be sure. Here we got the forks. You can see all a leaking mess here. One was leaking way more than the other, but I'm gonna do them both and be done. And here's the wheel. I don't know how well you can see it, but the spokes are a little rusty. But it's just surface rust, it's nothing bad. I'm not gonna re-spoke them because it's really not worth it. They look a little crusty. I think I'm gonna do what I really never like to do is I'm gonna get some black spoke skins and just put the covers on and be done with it. I'm gonna do new wheel bearings, new tire, new tube, and then the whole front end will be done. And that's just a quick update on where the KTM 990 is. Like I said, so far it's looking good. I'm pretty happy. I have a lot of cleaning to do and just minor doodads here and there, do all the service. And once I have the front end together, then I'm going to do the same with the rear, and the swing arm is going to come out, and all the linkages, all that needs to be cleaned and looped and serviced, and new tire and all that. And just making sure she's ready to go. So before I go, one more thing. I did go to the Chili Willy Adventure Rally. I went there, froze my nuts off, had an absolute blast. Great people, great riding, great rally. It's just cold. I hate the cold. Lord, do I hate it. I was miserable. But it was good. Good and bad at the same way. No, it was great. It's just cold. So if you like the cold, if you're on this side of the coast, you know, if you are in the area and want to come down, this is a great rally to check out and have some really good fun there. People ask me if I'm coming next time. I said, I don't know. It really depends how cold it gets. This was really the max I want to do, which was about 30 degrees. I don't want to go any colder than that. But yeah, that video will be dropping soon, and stay tuned. Thank you very much. Auf Wiedersehen.